So we are going through the module 1A DC circuits. So first we will see what is the Ohm's law and how we can use this Ohm's law. So Ohm's law, you might have already know. Ohm's law gives the relationship between the resistance, voltage and current. So Ohm's law is defined as the potential difference between the two ends of a conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature and other physical parameters remain unchanged. So let me write it. So Ohm's law, it states that the potential difference between the two ends of a conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature and other physical parameters remain unchanged. So Ohm's law states that the potential difference between the two ends of the conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature and other physical parameters remain unchanged. So you can see V is directly proportional to I. So this is what Ohm's law states. V is directly proportional to I. Potential difference between the two ends of the conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. So V is equal to R into I. So R is nothing but the constant of proportionality. So it is also called as the resistance of the conductor. So V is given in volts. R, or the resistance, is given in ohms, and I, current, is given in amperes. So V is equal to R into I. So there is another way to remember this. So let me show it to you. So V, I and R. So V is equal to I into R. You can write, if you remember this, you can write the relationship easily. Then if you want to find out what is I, then I is equal to, you can see V by R. Next, R, if you need to find out what is R. So if you see what is R,
V by I.
V by I. So R is equal to V by I. So if you remember this, it will be easy for you to understand, to derive all these three relationships. So now if you go back to this equation, that is V is equal to I into R. Now according to the equation, or according to your Ohm's law statement, the statement says that the voltage is directly proportional to the current. That means If I double the voltage, then the current also will double, provided the resistance remains unchanged. So let me take an example to prove whatever I said. So let me take a simple DC circuit. Fine. So let me take the potential difference as 4 volt, and let me take a resistor of say 2 ohms. Now you know the current flows like this, right, from the positive. So let me take the current flowing like this. Now according to the relationship V is equal to I into R, I need to find out what is the current. So 4 volts is equal to I into 2. So that means I will be equal to 4 by 2. That means nothing but 2 amperes, right? Now let me take another example where I will double the voltage. So let me take it as 8 volts, and then let me keep the resistance same, okay, 2 ohms. And now let me find out the current. So current flows like this again. So V is equal to I into R. So from this I need to find out what is I. So I will be equal to V by R. So 8 divided by 2. So which is nothing but 4 amps. Now you can see here, whatever I said is justified, right? So your Ohm's law justifies this, right? So according to this, according to the Ohm's law, potential difference is directly proportional to the current. So I told you, if you double the voltage, then the current will also double, provided your resistance remains unchanged. So you can see here, I have doubled the voltage, 8 volt, resistance I have kept the same. I'm going to find out the current. So you can see the current is doubled here, 2 amps to 4 amps. So this proves your Ohm's law. Potential difference is directly proportional to the current. So next let us see the limitations of Ohm's law. The first limitation. So the first limitation, if you go back to your Ohm's law statement, you can see here, they have clearly mentioned in the Ohm's law statement that the temperature and the physical parameters should remain unchanged. That means your first limitation for Ohm's law is Ohm's law does not hold good where the temperature rise is rapid in some metals. So if the temperature rise is rapid, then the Ohm's law does not hold good. So the first thing is temperature should remain unchanged. So temperature should not change, or you can also say Ohm's law does not hold good if the temperature rise is rapid. The next limitation, the Ohm's law will not hold good for non-linear devices such as your diodes, your Zener diodes or semiconductor. So it does not hold good. For non-linear devices. So such as semiconductors and Zener diodes. Next, it does not hold good for non-metallic conductors such as silicon carbide. Non-metallic conductors, so for example silicon carbide. Next, Ohm's law cannot be applied for arc lamps. So these are the limitations of Ohm's law and the Ohm's law statement. So next we will be studying about the different combination of the resistance, that is your series combination resistance, parallel combination of the resistance. So first let me go to the series combination of resistance. So you might have already studied this in your PU, so let us go through it again. So we'll be using all this to solve the problems. So let me take a simple circuit. So let me take 3 resistors connected to a supply. So let me take this as R1, R2 and R3. So let me take the supply voltage as V and the current that is flowing through this is current I. Now the first thing that you need to remember when it comes for series combination is that the current flowing through all the resistances is the same. So the first thing that you need to remember about series combination is current flowing through resistance, flowing through series combination of resistance. Is the same. Whereas you can see voltage varies. So say the voltage across R1, if I take it as V1, the voltage across R2 will be different, that is V2. Voltage across R3 will be different again, that is V3. So voltage changes, current remains the same. So this is the two things that you need to remember. So it will be very useful when you do the experiments in the lab. So these are the two things that you need to remember. So I have already taken 3 resistances. Let me find out what is the equivalent resistance for a series combination of resistances. So according to this circuit, you can see voltage V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, correct? So V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now, you know according to the Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. So from this, I can write V1 will be equal to I into R1 plus V2 will be equal to, again you can see current I is flowing and the voltage is V2. So I into R2 plus V3 will be, again you can see current I is flowing, so I into R3. So if I take I common, so you will be left with R1 plus R2 plus R3. So you can also write it as V is equal to I into Rs, where Rs is the equivalent series resistance which is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So according to this, I can also simplify the circuit and write it as a single combination of the resistance. So voltage V, current I, and this is a series combination of resistance where Rs is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So this is about your series combination of resistance. So in the series combination of the resistance, the equivalent resistance can be given by the addition of all the resistances in series. And another thing that you need to remember is the current flowing through the series resistance will remain the same, whereas voltage will change. Voltage differs. So this is about your series combination of resistance. So next, let us go to the parallel combination of resistances. So let me take a simple circuit again where three resistances are parallel with each other. R1, R2, R3. So connected to a supply. Plus minus V. So again you have a current I going through this. Now you can see at this point what happens is current divides. So you can say current I1 is flowing through R1, current I2 will flow through R2, and current I3 will flow through R3. So in the parallel combination of the resistance, what happens is current changes. What about voltage? Now voltage for all the three resistances in parallel will remain the same. So current changes, voltage remains the same. So current changes and the voltage remains the same. So let me start with the derivation. Now, according to your circuit and according to the Ohm's law, that is V is equal to I into R. Now, according to Ohm's law, I can be written by V by R, right? Now, for this circuit, current I1 can be written as V by R1, current I2 can be written as V by R2, and current I3 can be written as V by R3. So now, from the circuit you can see current I is divided into I1, I2, I3. So according to that, I can also write I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So now let me substitute these equations. That is, let me substitute I1, I2 and I3. So what will it be? V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. So if you take V common, so you will be left with 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So is equal to I. So I is equal to V by Rp. Correct? So you can also write V is equal to I into Rp, right? So now where you can your 1 by Rp is given by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So this is your equivalent resistance. Now say I have got two resistances. So say I have got only two resistances in parallel. So R1 and R2. So current I1 flows through this and current I2 flows through this. So in this case, how can I find out the equivalent resistance? Now you already know 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, right? So from this, I can also write it as R1 plus R2 divided by R1 into R2. So from this, you can also write Rp is equal to R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So suppose you have two resistances in parallel, you can directly apply using this formula and you can solve for the parallel resistances, or else you will have to go with this. So Let me take another circuit where I have two resistances in series. So I have R1, I have R2, and this is voltage V, supply voltage. So I need to find out the voltages. This is V1, say this is V2. Okay, so you know in a series combination of resistances, what is happening is the current remains the same whereas voltage will differ, correct? So I have to find out what is V1 and V2. So using the voltage divider. Now, first, using this circuit and using the Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. Now you can directly write V1 is equal to I into R1. Similarly, V2 is equal to I into R2. Also from your circuit, you can also write V is equal to V1 plus V2. Now let me substitute this. Now V is equal to I into R1 plus I into R2. So I will be common, so R1 plus R2. So V. So from this, I is equal to V divided by R1 plus R2. Next, I want to find out the voltage across the resistance 1. So I need to find out what is V1. So you already know V1 is equal to I into R1, right? And I've already found out what is I. So let me substitute. So what will it be? V by R1 plus R2 into R1. So this is your voltage across R1. Similarly, voltage across R2. V2 is equal to I into R2. So substitute I. So I is equal to V divided by R1 plus R2 into R2. So this is your voltage divider rule. So V1 is equal to I into R1 equal to V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. V2 is equal to V into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So in the problems, whenever you have to find out V1 and V2, if you substitute, if you use this problem, if you use this equations, V1 and V2, voltage divider equations, you can directly solve the problem within 1 or 2 steps. You can also solve the problems using the Ohm's law, but you will have to go with several steps, so the problem will be lengthy. Voltage divider rule makes your problem simple and very small. Okay, so V1 is equal to V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2, and V2 is equal to V into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So next, so let me go through the next one, that is the current divider rule. So here let me take a series, your parallel circuit. So you already know in a parallel circuit what happens. Your current changes, voltage remains the same, correct? So let me take two resistance in parallel. So R2, and let me take this as R1. So this is the supply voltage. Now this is the main current I. So one current flows through R1, that is I1, and another one current flows through R2, that is I2. So in the current divider rule, we will be finding out the equations for I1 and I2. So according to this problem according to the circuit, so V is equal to I1 into R1, and also you can write V is equal to I2 into R2. So let me take this as equation 1 and let me take this as equation 2. Compare, I guess, right? That is V is equal to I1 R1, V equal to I2 R2. So say it is not substitute, comparing. So I1 R1 equal to I2 R2, correct? Next, what is I2 from this? So I2 will be equal to I1 R1 divided by R2. So let me take this as equation 3. So Again, from your circuit, if you see, you can write another relationship, that is I is equal to I1 plus I2. So I1 plus, now I2 equation you have already found out. So let me substitute that. So I1 R1 by R2. So I is equal to I1. If I take it as common, it will be 1 plus R1 by R2. So you can also write it as I is equal to I1 into R2 plus R1 divided by R2. So from this, I can write I1 as I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is your current divider equation for current I1. Similarly, if I had found out current I1 from this equation instead of finding out I2, and here if I had substituted current I1 equation and then if I had gone through, I would have found out current I2. So I2 similarly what will it be is I into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So for the current divider rule, remember this. Current in the first branch will be equal to the main current into the resistance in the another branch divided by the total resistance. That is for the current divider. So thank you.